In today's video, we're going to talk about how to deal with judgmental people. Hi, I'm Sam and welcome back to my channel that teaches you how to know, love, trust and heal yourself. Now, judgment as an energy is a very interesting one because when you're really consciously aware, you begin to notice just how much people judging you and your situation, your circumstances, but also noticing how self judges as well. So judgment is an internal and an external thing. So here's some tips and some things to think about when it comes to the energy of judgment. First off, when you feel like you're being judged by someone or you're verbally being criticized and judged by somebody, it's useful to remember to not take it personally. The reason being is because sometimes there are people that aren't consciously aware of their behavior, and it doesn't make their behavior right. It doesn't make them right. It doesn't make it okay for them to be judgmental. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you're having a meal with friends or with colleagues and you order a dish and the person next to you says, I can't stand that. Oh, I hate that food. They're making a judgment about what you're eating. But of course, it's nothing personal. They're literally just expressing what they basically don't like about themselves or the food that they don't like to consume. So in any instance, it's important not to take any kind of judgment or criticism personally. The judgments they're making have nothing to do with you, but everything to do about them and how they're perceiving themselves and what they're doing in their lives. It's human nature, right, to only think about yourself and your own world first and foremost. That's the way we're built. That's the way we're born and bred, is to prioritize self, one's own thoughts, feelings, behaviors and whatever, and put self first before anyone else. It's human nature. So it's nothing personal. The second tip is when you receive a judgment into yourself from someone else, is to come from a place of compassion and empathy. Remember that anyone is just doing what they're doing with the tools that they have available to the best of their ability and to the best of their conscious awareness. So when you can see people with compassion and understanding through whatever it is that they've commented on about you or what they've shared or their disgust or their criticism or whatever it is, it's simply them reflecting to you the challenges that they have about that particular topic or theme within them. Bearing also in mind that when it comes to consciousness and people being more aware and growing into conscious awareness, that journey takes time. And it takes time to see where one's behaviors are a work in progress, where behaviors could do with an upgrade. This is why it's important to come into that situation with that person from a place of love, empathy and compassion. Their behaviors is a kind of modeling. They've noticed, they've looked at their caregivers, their parents, and seen how they behave and the judgments that they have around themselves and people. And they've just modeled themselves on those people, those caregivers, parents. And so that comes into into one's being, and that becomes the program. And it's not until you become more consciously aware that you decide through many different ways, but it's not until you become more consciously aware of your behaviors that you then decide to change and go another way. It's often in life's trials and tribulations and traumatic experiences and painful experiences that we get knee-jerked, I guess, transported into a place where we say, enough is enough, I need to change my ways. And so we need to meet people with love and compassion exactly where they are at. And when you do that, the energy, your sense of yourself, your sense of the situation, or even your response to that person or how you perceive that person literally changes. It changes your state of being. The energy of love and compassion and empathy is a beautiful light energy that ripples out to everyone around you, including that person. And this is where we lead into the next point, and that's that all judgmental experiences are a gift. They provide us with a life lesson. And when I think into that, these opportunities and experiences allow us to go within and do some inner exploration of our own internal judgments, the judgments we have around ourselves, the judgments, the criticism, the self-criticism that one can have of our own experiences, our body, our clothes, our situation. And being judged right can really rock your self-esteem. We know this to be true. Let's just say you're having a conversation with a person and you've got this cute dress on or suit or whatever, and you love this piece of clothing, right? It's brand new, you feel great in it, and then your friend comes along and whether it's verbally tells you that it's not very nice or you don't look great in it, or just the look on their face is enough to go for you to go, oh, all right, you know, they don't like this. They're judging me. They're judging my dress. With this awareness, you can then do some inner exploration. A beautiful question at this point is to not internalize the criticism per se, but to go within and ask yourself the question, how is this making me feel right now? Then write down all the answers, write down all the responses to that question. So, you know, it could be, you know, I feel upset, I feel sad, I feel disappointed, I feel depressed. Go further. It makes me feel like I'm not good enough. It makes me feel like our friendship isn't what I thought it was. It makes me feel like I haven't got great dress sense. Those questions, those answers to that question are all related to self-worth, all related to deserving, and choices over clothing not being valid, trendy, whatever. This is all originated and comes around the theme of comparison. Judgment arrives when we see comparison in our being. We start comparing, or we notice that someone else is comparing us to them. And what comes out of the mouth or the expression is their lack of confidence, they're feeling like they're not enough. These experiences offer both parties up an opportunity for reflection. And we can tend to reflect back the pain, discomfort, the criticism, the judgment we have on ourselves. So just as they judge us with what we're wearing or what we're doing, what they're really doing is showing us where they're judging themselves, but inviting us to look at where we judge ourselves around this. So if the conversation that I'm having here is around the dress I'm wearing today, and the criticism comes in and I don't feel like I'm good enough, or that my choices about myself aren't where they need to be, comparatively speaking, then we can ask ourselves the question, where in my life, where else in my life do I not feel good enough? Write those answers down. It's beautiful exploration where we can use the dialogue that we have with other people who show up in our lives and create this energy, this emotion that's around judgment, is an invitation to go within, while giving that person our full love, compassion and empathy for the situation that they may well be in. They may have had a row with their partner, they may have had a row with their boss, they may just be feeling really unhappy. Judgment is a really easy energy for anybody to utilize. And it happens a lot. And when you become more conscious about the energy of judgment, and when you see it play out with others, and be in that allowance of seeing where judgment comes up with self, it can does skyrocket your awareness to the point where you become really conscious about yourself, conscious about that person, and you see the bigger picture of the situation that they may well be in. It's like taking their bird's eye view. And when I say that, when you offer this person love and compassion, and then you do the internal exploration, you must also offer yourself love and compassion and empathy too. It is not a platform for building up the self-criticism. We must treat yourself the same way as you would treat that person, with love, empathy, compassion, and understanding. And so as you move through that exercise, what moves into your awareness is gratitude. We can thank that person for showing up and providing us with the experience to do the inner work, be so grateful for the opportunity to see where judgment is sitting within the body, within our own experience, our self-judgment, our self-criticism, so that we may have love, compassion, empathy for self, and be grateful for the experience. This is what we need in this world, is more love and compassion and understanding and acceptance. And that's why judgment as a beautiful exercise means that we can do the self-work. Because when we do the self-work, it's a leadership opportunity. It is a offering for others to do their own self-work too. There does come times though when somebody's constant criticism and self-judgment becomes too much to bear, and it rocks your self-esteem to the point where your boundaries become eroded. And in that instance, you need to take yourself out of that experience. So let's just say, as best as you possibly can, let's just say that it's your mother that is your biggest critic, your biggest judgmental person that you know. For your own self-worth, self-love, self-compassion, you choose to not see her as much, to create a bit of distance from each other. This is a really important way for you to manage her judgment, but also the judgment that you will inevitably have for her as well. We're constantly role-playing. Judgment is a great vehicle for conscious awareness and that role-playing to take place. Going back to the dress scenario that we've just talked about, you could also reframe this and stand in your power, stand in your confidence, stand in your self-assurance. Remind yourself of how good you felt when you put the dress on first thing in the morning, and how you stood in the mirror and you felt amazing, and remind yourself, replay that video in your mind about how amazing you felt. Take a deep breath and continue to show up in your own sense of style. Let the wave of judgment flow straight over you, so it's not even touching you. Let it glide off into the breeze. Come back to your own center, your own strength, your own power, your own innate confidence, and wear the dress with style, with pride, with sass. This is a leadership opportunity that the conscious you can bring to the experience, that invites your friend to take another viewpoint, to see another perspective, to notice how you're not playing the role that you would have normally played in that kind of scenario. What does this do? Obviously, it's shifted the whole experience. It's shifted your friend's perspective. You've broken the cycle, the role playing between you. It's a beautiful thing. You can do this with your boss. You can do this with yourself. It's like, how do I show up differently so I get a different response? So I break the cycle. I break the cycle of what somebody's sharing with me, because believe you me, she will not show up in the same way again. You will not have the same dialogue, judgment dialogue, that you had when you break the cycle. So if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell, because I'm posting every week. And if there are any other videos that you would like me to do, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you soon.